Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And today I'm going to talk about my June TBR. The books that I'm going to read in June, because that's what a TBR means. Now, as you know, following the channel, I did a very poor job in April, in that I didn't read anything that was on my TBR. I didn't read anything that wasn't on my TBR. I didn't read anything at all. And then in May, I did slightly better. I did do better. I got back into the kind of the habit of reading, into the swing of reading, but I came nowhere close to actually concluding my TBR in May. Largely because school was getting out, and I am a good teacher. I have a weakness when it comes to grading papers, because I don't like doing it. Because if you've been on any of my late night live streams, I know what a kid gets. Like, without having to grade the paper, I know what a kid gets. Like, from observing, because I am a good teacher, from observing their behavior in class, from calling on them, from looking at quizzes, or looking at just the daily work, and past tests, I can tell, almost always, what kind of grade a kid's gonna get. And if I'm wrong, I'm usually wrong in their favor. Like, I'm like, oh, this kid's gonna get a B, and then they get a D, and I'm like, oh, well, you know, if I'd have just been able to give that kid a B that I thought he was gonna get, he'd gotten a B instead of his D when I actually graded this friggin' paper. I don't like it. And the reason I get behind is, one, I don't like doing it. I don't like bringing my work home. Like, I made a decision this year that I'm just not gonna do work at home other than writing slides, because that's my fault. That's not my job's fault. That's my fault of not being prepared from the summer. So I don't bring my freaking grades home. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not at work, so I'm not gonna do it. And also, I don't sit behind my desk all period and grade papers like, you know, some people do. I'm generally teaching the whole class, so I got way behind, and the end of the year was just a whirlwind of madness. But I'm out of school now. It's June, and I still have a lot to do. So a lot of my reading time is taken up by actually, you know, trying to do prep work, so I'm not so behind this coming year. But, you know, I do have more time to read, and I'm hoping that I can do an even better job of the TBR this time. So, without wasting any more time,
Let's get down to business.
here are the books that I'm going to be reading in June. Boosh! First, we have The Shadow Throne by Django Wexler. This is book 2 of the Shadow Campaigns, and this is part of the read-along on my channel of the Shadow Campaigns read-along. We read 1,000 Names last month. I did not. I've read it before. I've read this whole series before. I did not get to it. I'm reading it literally as soon as I finish the current book I'm reading. And so the live show for the Shadow Campaigns will be sometime in the middle of this month. So stay tuned for information about that. The fantastic thing is that the reception of the Shadow Campaigns has been much, much, much better than the reception for the Chronicles of the Unhewn Throne, which pleases me. There have been a lot of people who don't necessarily like Flintlock Fantasy or don't read a lot of Flintlock Fantasy that have really, really enjoyed their foray into this, and that makes me so happy, because Powder Mage is far and beyond the most popular, well-known Flintlock Fantasy, but Shadow Campaigns is second. It's not really a close second, but it is the most visible, the second most popular Flintlock series. And so I'm glad people are reading it and enjoying it the same way that I did, and talking about the battles, just hearing them talk about the battles and stuff is just the stuff that I remember. So I cannot wait to actually discuss this. So that'll be this month. That means that really, I mean, you should probably expect the live show for the book to be like halfway through the following month. That's just kind of the schedule that I'm probably going to be on until I get caught up, really. So, you know, look for the discussion about the Shadow Throne. Shadow Throne, I'm interested to see people's opinion, because it is less military and much more politically focused. So, because of that reason, I liked it less than the first book. I am definitely eager to see what people think of the second book, you know, compared to how they think of the first book. So that'll definitely be interesting to see. So stay tuned for information about that live show coming out soon. Next, on the books that I'm definitely going to read this month, Boosh, The Spider's War. And this is book 5 of the Dagger and Coin series by Daniel Abraham. If I read nothing else this month, I will read 1,000 Names, because I gotta read the stupid thing for my own read-along. And I'll definitely read this, because this is book 5, the concluding book of the Dagger and Coin series. Book 4 was great. It was a lot of setup, and I've heard that book 5 is absolutely amazing, and it doesn't end how you would think it would end, which is pretty standard for a Daniel Abraham novel. So I am so excited to finally finish this book, and then I will have read all of Daniel Abraham's fantasy, which pleases me to no end. And I haven't read any of The Expanse, but all of his fantasy will be concluded, and I can, talk about him. I'm going to do a full kind of like why you should read this series. I'm so behind on reviews, so I'm trying to find ways to like combine them. So when I'm done, I'll do a why you should read Dagger and Coin, and maybe compare it a little bit to Long Price Quartet if you've read that, or if you like Long Price Quartet, or if you don't. The similarities, differences kind of thing. So I can't really say anything about this other than book 4 set it up a lot. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. I don't even know. I don't even have any guesses. I have no predictions, but I will 100% read this book this month, guaranteed. Next, I will also be reading Boosh, The Last Witness, a novella by K.J. Parker, and I'll be reading this with Zara, as per usual. We try to read a K.J. Parker a month, but I don't ever have any room, so we've just been reading his novellas. Fortunately, they are incredibly plentiful. So this one is not part of a series like the ones I read last month were all Salininus. This is just a standalone novella about a guy who has the ability to go inside your head and remove, like pick through your brain and remove any memories that he wants removed. And he is hired by politicians or, people in power to perform that operation on, various people. So the premise sounds really, really interesting. And I'm, with Parker's cynical worldview, I can't even imagine how this is gonna pan out. His novellas they're not hit or miss for me, but they're hit or miss like concerning Parker. I love all of them, but I like some of his novellas significantly more than other ones, and it really just depends on what it deals with. The ones that deal with kind of the metaphysical, like he does a lot of novellas that deal with like demonic possession and like heaven versus hell, angels, demons type things. And those I like less than the ones that are dealing with like politics and government and things like that. So I tend to like those more than these other ones, even though Parker's brilliant no matter what they are. You should definitely check out KJ Parker. This is my, per video plug. So I'll definitely be reading that. It's only like 115 pages. It's only like 115 pages, and there's not, a ton of text on each page either, so it's not like dense pages. So I'll definitely be reading that as well. Also on the must-read list, we have Boosh, Beyond Redemption by Michael R. Fletcher. So this was the patron wheel spin from 2 months ago, and this is not a book that I would normally pick up on my own. From what I understand, Michael R. Fletcher writes like incredibly grimdark, like really dark stuff. And this is book 1 of the Manifest Delusions duology that seems really cool, where people's conceptions and their faith and the way what they believe shapes reality, and like these things are born into life from people believing them. And it seems very, apocalyptic, and it just seems, it seems really cool from the description. I do not have it yet. I had to order it. It should be here tomorrow. But my patrons chose that. I have to read that. I have thus far failed in reading Shards of Honor from 2 months ago, which is what I was supposed to read. It is on my, forever, try to catch up list. I always finish my patron picks. It took me 6 months to finish Tagana, but I finished it. So I'm definitely going to read Shards of Honor. I will finish that. But for this month, it's going to be Beyond Redemption. And, people don't know if I'm going to like it or not, but they are definitely interested to see me read it. Several people I know have read it and have liked it a lot. So, down in the comments, let me know if you think that I'm going to like Beyond Redemption. I haven't read anything by Michael R. Fletcher before, but I know a bunch of people who have read the Blackstone Heart, is that what it's called? Of his. So I'm eager to see. Try out a new author. Another book that I'm going to try to get to this month is going to be Boosh, A Prelude to Ashes by Thiago Abdallah, which is the novella, the prequel novella to A Touch of Light, which is the first book in the Ashes of Averin series. This came out in March. If you did not catch my interview with Thiago Abdallah and Kevin Kemp, who's doing the audiobook for A Touch of Light, I had this 2 days ago. You have got to check it out. There's a timestamp in the description of Kevin's narration. He does like a 5-minute clip of the audiobook for us, and it is phenomenal. It's just a great interview just in general, talking about Thiago and the process of self-publishing and how an audiobook is made. It's absolutely fantastic. You should check it out. I'll try to link it up there. If not, it'll be down in the description or whatever. But check that out. So this is a prelude, 85-page prequel to A Touch of Light that many people are saying is actually a better starting point than Touch of Light, because Touch of Light just kind of tosses you into it and you got to figure some stuff out, which I didn't mind at all. But I'm eager to see what happens in this one and how it sets up, because it takes place 100 years before the events of Touch of Light. So I'm definitely going to try to read that this month as well, while I wait to the end of the month for that audiobook to come out so I can re-listen to Touch of Light with that amazing audio. And the final book that I'm definitely going to try to get to is Boosh Summer Night by Jim Butcher, book 4 of the Dresden Files. So earlier today, or by the time you're watching this yesterday, me and Jimmy and Sarah had a discussion about the first 3 Dresden books. And, anytime I talk about a series or book, it makes me want to read the next one or reread the ones that I already read. So I'm definitely going to try to read one a month if I can get to it. Dresden is usually pretty okay with me being able to listen to part of it on audio and read part of it. So that's probably what I'll do, is when I'm out and about, I'll listen to it. But when I'm at home, I'll just read it so I can get through it pretty quickly. I'm excited to see where Dresden goes. Everyone says that book 4, it starts, picking up and starts being, having more world building and being less standalone and more serialized. So, I like Dresden. There are many things about Dresden that are dumb. And, don't go down to the comments and be like, no, it's perfect. No, I mean, there's some dumb stuff. But that's noir. Like, go watch that video. We talk about it all the time. Like, the noir genre, there is a lot in the noir genre that is dumb. Like, it's just really, like, that's good. Okay. Like, any alley, if you go in any alley or you're investigating any room alone, especially if you're, like, halfway through the book, you're definitely getting knocked out, and you're going to get tied behind a chair, and a dude's going to reveal his plan to you, and he's going to set the building on fire, and somehow you're going to find a way to escape. That's noir. Like, if you've read noir, guys, that's what noir is. I have always been a fan of noir. That's part of the reason that I like the Discworld City Watch books. So I love Dresden, flaws and all. So I'm definitely excited to see where it goes and see what it builds off of. I am less excited, because I just read the back of it, that book 4 is all about fairies. Because I just finished witching and moaning about book 3 having too many vampires in it. But book 4 has a bunch of fairies. Oh, it's the queen of the winter court. Man, be careful what you wish for. I want the vampires back. I don't want to read about the fairies, because you know what that means? Frickin' Toot Toot's gonna come back. Whatever. So anyway, if I manage to finish all these, who knows what kind of time I'm going to have reading or whatever, but if I manage to finish all this, I'm definitely going to be hitting the books that I have missed or I'm behind on. We'll just see. Most of these aren't too long. The real problem is freaking the Shadow Campaigns books are quite lengthy. So, we'll see. At any rate, have you read any of these? What are you most excited for me to read? I know it's the Dresden book, whatever. Come read Shadow Campaigns with us, or read KJ Parker. Guys, what are you looking forward to most about... I don't know what that sentence means. What are you looking forward to reading the most in June? Or have you already read it? If you've read Dresden, how good is Summer Nights compared to the 3 that came before it? As always, guys, information about my Patreon and Discord is down in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys.